Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Most of us dream of having the ultimate dream job. Today's guest actually works in a place where dreams come true. Today's guest is Liz Young. Welcome to the show, Liz.
Thank you.
So you actually have the dream job.
Yes, I guess I do. I do get to work in a place where people's dreams come true every day.
Right. And where is that?
That is at Walt Disney World.
And everybody recognizes this photo. Now, when I think of Disney World, the Magic Kingdom is automatically what comes to my head because I grew up, a generation before you, so where we only had a few channels, but I think it was Sunday night that was, the night for the Disney shows, and we'd see the castle.
Mm-hmm.
How is it to work there?
I think that it's pretty amazing, actually. I always still get excited when I walk down Main Street in Magic Kingdom and see the castle or see the castle from the monorail. And the first picture that we saw, it's covered in ice, and that's for Christmas time. And I just think that's the prettiest the castle ever looks.
Right. Now let's go back a little bit. Who is Liz Young? You're a native of Newport?
I am. I was born and raised in Newport, Vermont.
Right. And you graduated from North Country what year?
I graduated from North Country in 2003.
So what led you to the Magic Kingdom?
Well, I wanted to work with Disney ever since I was 9. And when we went to Disney for the first time, we got a vacation planning video, and my mom told me that her cousin's husband worked at the Contemporary Resort, which is the resort that the monorail drives straight through. And so ever since then, I just wanted to work at Disney. And after I graduated college, 6 months after I moved down, and a month later I started working for Disney.
Right. Do you ever, when I go to Florida, it's very rare that you don't run into somebody you know. And it really isn't that amazing because, a lot of people up here in the winter, they converge on Florida. And as much as I get tired of going to amusement parks, you always find yourself at Disney. You must run into people.
I do run into people. Sometimes, or most of the time, I know when people are actually coming, my parents, family members, and things of that nature. But, every once in a while, I'll run into people I know from church that I didn't know were going to be there. One time, I saw some people I went to high school with that I didn't know were going to be there, and I yelled to them, and so yeah, every once in a while, you get surprised.
But the funny thing is, when you see somebody that you know very well, but you see them where you're not expecting them, it takes a while for your mind to click in. Like you must have had some people that were just looked at you and it took a minute.
Yeah, it definitely happens.
So for our interview today, there are things you can't tell the viewers. What are some of the things you can't tell us?
Well, I can't tell you. I can't break the magic. I want everybody, and all of us cast members want everybody to come to Disney and feel like they're 5 years old again, and the magic is everywhere.
Right. And but you're an entertainer.
I am a performer in entertainment, yes.
Right. And do you go to work every day? It's such a happy place. Do you go there every day happy, or are there some days where you go and you just don't want to be there?
Well, even though I do work at a wonderful place, it's still my job.
Yeah.
So there are still bad days and good days, and most days are great. Even if I go to work, maybe I haven't had the best morning, stuff happens, you're late, whatever, something happened the night before that's still bothering you. Usually once I get out there and start doing my job, it just all kind of goes away and doesn't really matter anymore.
The one song that I think of, I will die humming this song because it gets in your head and you hear it on one ride. What song am I talking about?
It's a Small World.
It's a Small World. You get in there, and if that ride broke down and those little characters kept singing, it would drive people mad, I think. It's so funny. I've gone through there And I just keep hearing it still ringing in my head.
I think it's part of its charm.
Yeah.
That it never really leaves you.
Right.
So.
Have you gone on all the rides?
No, but I've gone on most of them. But I refuse to go on Cali Rapids. It is a water ride, and I don't want to be wet all day.
Yeah, but is that why, or you're afraid of it?
No, I don't like to get wet
Right.
on rides. So.
All right. Now, when you say Disney, I guess I haven't quite figured out. Because there's different parks that are part of Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you work in the Magic Kingdom area.
Well, I actually work in all of the parks. I work
do
at
you?
Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and then we also have 2 water parks.
And what
and
about
I've worked
Islands
in
of
both
Adventure?
those.
What is?
Islands of Adventure is with Universal.
Oh, okay, all right, that's Universal. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much, for all I know.
That's okay. There's a lot of stuff going on in Orlando.
Right. So but you've gone on most of the rides in all the parks?
Yeah.
Any favorites?
Well, I love the teacups.
Right.
That is definitely one of
Those
my
will
favorite
just
rides.
go around in circles, right?
Well, it goes around in a circle, but then you spin your individual teacup.
Right.
So
Okay.
I really like that
What
ride.
about some of these loop-to-loop roller coasters? Do you like those?
Yeah, the Rock and Roller Coaster,
Right.
which has Aerosmith music playing. That one's pretty awesome.
Right.
You don't go up a hill; they just shoot you.
The funny thing about us, I have never been a ride person. I really don't like them. But then my sons, who went to school with you, they grew up, moved out. So when I would go with my daughter and my wife, well, somebody had to go with her. So
Right.
so my wife went on a loop-to-loop roller coaster with her, and she got off the roller coaster a pretty shade of green, and she swore off loop-to-loop roller coasters. Well, I hadn't been on a roller coaster other than at Santa's Village since maybe I was 7, 8 years old, and I said, "Okay, Emily, I'll get on it," and she was surprised. I got on it, and it was like 4 loop-to-loops. It was actually at Universal, and she couldn't get me off after. I loved it.
Yeah.
But still, though, we have this strategy we do when we go to amusement parks. You know, most parents, they would go on the ride first to make sure it was okay. We send Emily first because Emily will go on any ride.
Mm-hmm.
And so we send her, and she comes back, reports to us, and tells us, okay, that's okay. So, what's your worst ride? As in, not the worst, as in like you just don't like it, but the one that scared the daylights out of you.
One that scared me. When I ride Space Mountain, I don't like to be in the front because it's dark and you don't know where you're going. So I like to focus on the person's head in front of me, so it doesn't make me as nervous. But
Right.
riding in the front I don't like that.
Right.
That scares me.
I like Splash Mountain.
Oh, I do not like Splash Mountain
Oh, you don't?
because I don't like to get wet on rides.
Oh, that's true too. You
So
don't
I
want
don't
to
like
get
it.
red. The only thing I still seem to think is I thought that the fall that you took, the drop that you took while you were in the mountain, I swear that isn't as steep as it was years ago. But I don't know if that's changed or not.
Well, I don't think it's actually changed.
Maybe my perception has
Yeah.
or something.
You're
But
just remembering it differently.
I haven't been on Space Mountain. For some reason, I've been a chicken.
You should do it. Just don't sit in the front.
Don't sit in the front.
Just make your daughter sit in the front.
Right. Have you ever worked the rides, or is it
No.
only entertainment?
Oh, I've done quick service food and beverage and entertainment.
Right. You know, there's a book out, and I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if it's just about Disney or about amusement parks in Florida. Is when you go up to a row of, if you go up to a ride and you have numerous places where you can get on the ride, you know what I mean? Numerous gates. Americans always steer to the right because we drive right.
On the right side.
And if you noticed, if you go up to the entrances, the longest lines are on the right. That's how come I read something how you're actually supposed to go look to the left and you can get on the rides a lot quicker. Have you ever heard that?
I did when I remember my mom said that when we were little and we went to Disney the first time. But Disney has since changed kind of how they do their queues. So
Oh,
the
okay.
the left-hand side is always just what we call the standby line, and then the right side is a fast pass lane.
Oh.
So you go to those rides and you get like a paper card, and it tells you what time to come back, and so you kind of basically get to like skip the entire line.
So in other words, is my
so-
strategy's no good anymore.
No.
It used to work
It
great.
used to, yes. It used
I
to.
actually, I do that even in the grocery line. If you notice in the grocery line, or like at Walmart or something, a lot of times it's the right hand side at checkout that seems to be the longest. So aim for the left.
All right, I
And
will
think
do that.
think of that. Think of me when you do that.
Okay.
So, what about rainy days? Are they the same, or are they a little more gloom over the kingdom?
Well, it rains almost every day in the summertime. We get like an afternoon shower. So I think that sometimes the rain, if it's short enough, like a half hour, it doesn't, people stand under cover and then they'll go back out and be on their way. But if it rains an entire day, you do notice guests are maybe not as excited to be there, and some guests are prepared and know it's going to rain and they've got everything they need. And we as cast members have rain gear and different procedures, what we need to do when it's raining and if there's lightning and things like that. So.
Right. And who is this fella you are standing here with?
This is the mayor of Main Street at Magic Kingdom, and he is out every morning. And I've met him several times, and I've seen him backstage at work.
So he's really the Mayor Manette of the Magic Kingdom, Mayor Manette of Newport.
Yeah, he is the mayor of Magic Kingdom.
So, and he must kind of enjoy that attention then.
Oh, absolutely. He is so great, and he is funny and very personal and just very lovely person.
So are the people, we go there and we see all these characters, Goofy, Minnie, and Mickey, but behind the scenes, which you can't talk about, these are all ordinary performers. They're from all walks of life.
Well, we have a lot of different performers, but Minnie is Minnie, and Goofy is Goofy, and there's only one of every character, which we know. But there are some of us who are very close friends with them. I'm very close friends with Mickey and Minnie. I spend a lot of time with them.
So who are you?
I am Elizabeth Young, but I'm very good friends with Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, there, I tried to get you. It must be really nice, though, to see all the happiness on the children.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is something that you always remember. Now, you went there at what age?
9 and 12.
Yeah, I didn't go there until I was in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I lived a deprived childhood. No, actually, I lived a very good childhood. But no, we just never. We used to. Did you drive down or did you fly down when you were a kid?
The first time we flew, the second time we drove.
And how many fist fights did you and your brother get in? Were you pretty
Not
good?
many. Me and my brother don't really fight. We get along pretty well.
I had, my two sons who are twins and my daughter who's a few years younger. I remember one time, I think we made it to Georgia. Then the court came undone, and there was they had a boxing match in the back seat. Do you have a lot of family come down to visit you?
My mom comes down several times a year, and my dad comes down every year and a half or so.
Oh, really?
And then, when my brother can, he comes.
And what are you doing here in Vermont now?
I came home for a visit. I like to visit every summer.
And what do you think about the weather?
It is beautiful. I'm not sweating, but it's still nice and sunny.
But the rain, I don't like to complain. I really don't. I don't like to complain about the
True.
weather.
It has not rained yet today, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's a dry spell. Currently, we are recording on Thursday, and it's getting, it's really getting dry out there. I think we've been like 5 or 6 hours without rain. So we're nearing drought stage.
Oh, Florida, it rains all the time.
Yeah,
so,
but I was just talking to a person from Florida, and he was telling me, he said, yeah, it rains. He said, but comes and it gets it over with, and it doesn't like go on and on and on.
Yeah, most days it just rains and then it's done.
Right. And this is a recognizable fella, Goofy.
Yeah.
Is a person who plays Goofy, is he Goofy?
Well, no one plays Goofy. Goofy is
Oh.
Goofy, and Goofy is in fact Goofy.
Right. So you can't tell me whether the person who, oh no, Goofy's really Goofy. So
Yeah,
that's right.
Goofy is Goofy, and there's
Right.
only one.
Is, seeing these characters, does it transport you, even though you see them every day? Do you get used to it, or does it ever bring you back to your childhood the first time you went?
I love seeing characters. I go to Disney all the time. Me and my friend Anna, we go to Disney on our days off, and we go meet the characters, and I love it.
And what is this one?
That is in the Norway Pavilion at Epcot, and after you go on the boat ride there, you of course get dropped off into the gift shop, which happens after you exit most Disney rides. And there's this large statue of a troll, and so we decided to be fun and put on some Viking hats and pretend we were fighting the troll. So
Now then, here's you and your father.
yes, this is me and my dad.
Does he ever age?
No, he doesn't. I don't think he does at all.
You know, I've known him for years, and he hasn't aged a bit.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
my parents don't age.
Yeah, neither. Yeah, neither. You know, I had your, I believe I had your grandmother, Mrs. Kipp, for my Sunday school teacher back. You know, it seems like a lifetime ago, but she hasn't changed that much either.
No.
Just so you're ageless, like.
Apparently, yes.
You know,
we are.
So you got good genetics.
Yeah.
So, so what's your future? Do you like plan on retiring from Disney, or is this a step towards something bigger for you?
I don't know. That is yet to be determined and yet to be decided. Right now, I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I really enjoy how accessible Orlando is. So I do get to see a lot of family and friends, and so right now I'm just like hanging out, having a good time doing my job, and
That must
we'll
be.
see what the next step is.
So
in a
you
little bit.
sound like me. I have a job that I just can't wait to go to, and even days that I don't feel like working. I love the people that I meet. Would you say you're kind of the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's always going to be some sort of something that's going on at your job, dramas and difficulties, but, you know, there are some really wonderful people that I work with, and experiencing interactions with a guest is also something that just is, you know, it's irreplaceable.
Now, how long have you worked there, did you say?
I just celebrated my 4-year anniversary on June 16th with the
Right.
company.
And it's probably safe to, with all respects to mill workers, because before I went to college, I actually worked in a mill, and it takes regimentation. I assume after working at a place like this, you're probably ruined for the conveyor belt type of job.
I think that it will definitely be difficult to just, after this job, go and sit at a desk. I don't know if that would really be what I would want to go to, but you know, you never know. There's always going to be a way for me to be creative
Right.
in some aspect.
Hey, here's a question a little off the topic, but I often like to know, where do people end up? Where is your brother now?
Oh, he's actually in Maine going to med school.
Oh, really? Which college in Maine?
The one in Biddeford.
Oh, Biddeford. Okay.
I forget
Because
what it's called.
both of
University of New England or something.
yep, because all my kids went to college in Maine, and the two boys are still there, and I know they used to run with your brother.
Yep.
I'll have to tell them they're there, because they actually lived in Biddeford for a while. If you're a maniac, they say Biddeford so quick, it's kind of like a roll off your tongue thing. So he's going to be a doctor.
That is the plan. So, yeah.
Well, so that's honorable thing. Hey, another thing about young people, we always hear about how young people, they're not like when we were kids. You know, you guys are kind of lazy, and what do you think about? Did you ever hear that?
I don't know if I've ever heard that, but there, I think, are lazy people no matter what their age is.
Well,
and I work with some lazy people, and I also work with some really, really hard workers. So I think it just kind of depends on. I mean, if you're a lazy person, you're going to be a lazy person no matter what your age is.
I tell people, I kind of laugh about that stereotype because I have a diary entry. This woman in Charleston, Vermont, is writing about the lazy young people of today, and you can see her wringing her hands, complaining and complaining, and she's talking about the young people of today don't want to get their hands dirty. They just don't want to work. It was written in 1880, and you know, it happens. Like, I'm sure even you, there must have been moments where you've looked back at these youngsters graduating from high school and said, they're not on top of things like I was.
There are some people that I work with that are significantly younger than me, and I sometimes feel that way.
Yeah. We all, as we get old, we always look back and think, I wasn't like that.
But I probably, I also didn't know what I was doing when I first started working there, and I needed help too. So you just got to remember that people sometimes need help, and they don't always know what's going on. Yeah.
At 50 years old, almost 50 years old, sometimes I don't think I know what I'm doing. And it's kind of like a learning thing, but it is funny. Have you also, this is off the topic, too, is there's a lot going on in the Northeast Kingdom. There really is. There's, Burke, there's Jay, there's a revitalization of Newport. Now, I live here, and I stay here other than my travels. So sometimes I don't see everything anymore but then my sons come home or my daughters come home, and because they haven't been home for a few months, they see things a bit different. Mm-hmm. How do you think Newport is starting to shape up? Is it dead, or is it starting to come around?
I don't know. I think that it's definitely, I mean, I don't ever think it was dead. It was it's my home, so right. It has a special place in my heart. But it was very interesting. Yesterday we were driving to church, which is in Derby, and we get to the Cumbie, this intersection just over here where Cumbie's is, and my mom's like, "Did you notice the lights?" Or she's like, "Do you notice anything different about the intersection?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we have like lights,
modern
and there's no
lights.
median anymore." Yeah.
What about Louise's store? The big block.
The big block.
Yeah, the big block that they tore down
just
a few months ago.
So crazy.
It's a parking lot.
Then there's like the big building that's where Nips used to be.
Yeah, that's gone.
It's like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But it's good. I think it's
Is there anything that would convince you to move home? What would the area have to do? Have a theme park?
I mean, I live in Florida because I want to work for Disney. I don't know. It would definitely, there would have to be some sort of job. And a job that I would want to do.
And do you think, to me sometimes, because I'm the eternal optimist, I tell people if I can succeed, anybody can succeed. I believe you can succeed here, but I think there's a real underlying sense of pessimism amongst some people here. Do you think we're a pessimistic people?
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
But you do have a lot of winter. We have a lot of winter up here. So, I don't know, maybe people just get kind of...
crotchety, sitting around all winter.
Yeah, you're cold, there's slushy stuff everywhere, and, it doesn't always make things easy.
Right. I am the eternal optimist. I think we are headed in the right direction. But, I think we need to be careful, too, because we don't want to transform ourselves in. As much as we enjoy Disney World, we don't want to transform our area into a theme park in its
Right.
own, because then we will rob ourselves
Absolutely.
of what attracts people here, or what the reason we want to live here.
Right. It's beautiful here, and I don't think there has to be a whole lot that you have to do to make it like glitter and shine, because it already kind of does that.
Right, in its
of
own way.
itself, yeah.
So are you going to return home someday, do you think?
I would like to, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to stay at Disney forever. I'd like to go on and do, a new adventure at some point in my life. I don't know when or where that will be. But
You sound like my daughter. My daughter's she shocked us when she returned to Vermont to go to UVM, because she doesn't care what the adventure is. She's been through Europe. She went over to Australia and lived for 6 months, and she just likes to see new things.
Yes.
So, all right, we only have a few more minutes. This last photo, what is that?
Oh, that's me on my favorite ride, the teacups.
Teacups. Yeah, and that's a real basic ride, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple, cute ride.
Do you know one ride? And I think this is at Universal. That it's the weirdest thing. My daughter will go on any ride, but the Cat in the Hat freaks her out.
Oh, really?
There's something that she says just the whole concept of the Cat in the Hat. I don't know if she had some trauma, childhood trauma, but it creeps her out.
I've actually never been on that ride.
Yeah, it's a basic ride. It's a kid's ride, but the whole concept, the Cat in the Hat, we did have a mean cat when she was growing up, so maybe it's in the recesses of the back of her mind. So, what more would you like to tell the viewers about yourself, about your work, or anything during the next 3 minutes?
I mean, Disney is a really great place, and I think it's really exciting that I get to be part of what Disney does every day for people, and I think that everybody should come visit. Disney's doing a lot of expansions and making things new. We just got a Starbucks in Magic Kingdom, so that's the new big excitement. They've been working on New Fantasyland, and that will be completely finished in 2014. And so there's just always exciting things going on.
Have you ever been to Disneyland?
I have not, but it is definitely one of my goals. I would like to visit, if I can, all of the other Disney parks.
And where are they?
There is Disneyland, obviously, in Anaheim, California.
Right.
Then there's Euro Disney, which is in Paris. There's Tokyo Disney, and there's also Disney in Hong Kong.
So you can't get a gig going over and playing, performing over there?
There actually are times when they audition for Disney Hong Kong and Disney Tokyo. I've never gone to those auditions. You have to be in a contract and you have to live over there. For Tokyo, it's like something like 16 months. It's a very long time.
Right.
So I don't know. I've just never really thought about doing it.
Well, I think it's great that you came on, because I always love to know where our young people just disperse to, because, North Country pumps out more than 200 people a year, and then they just kind of, they disperse, or they begin families. But a lot of times like my thing is, I always like to know where some of these people, especially people my kids knew growing up, like, where did they just disappear to? Because I know I have that a lot, is people say, of course, with my boys being runners, they still make their way into the papers, but still, I just like to know where everybody disappeared to.
Yeah.
So, okay. So thank you for coming on the show and telling us about the land where dreams come true.
Oh, thank you.
Did your dreams come true there by just getting hired?
Yeah, it was definitely a dream since I was 9 years old to work for Walt Disney World, and I got to work there, and I've met amazing people and have a really nice boyfriend that works there too, and yeah, so everything is
And what
really
character
great.
is he?
Well, there's no people who play characters. But
Boy, I'm not getting anything out of you.
He is very good friends with Goofy, and he also is a stilt walker and a puppeteer. So he does some pretty cool things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to the viewers for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.